We're going to start the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Committee, that's a mouthful, Monday, January 22nd, 5:30. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, in your packet, well, we'll skip town manager's update. Hopefully he will come in and sit at the end of the table. In your packet, you have this right here. I sent an email to Liz. I sent several emails. I sent one to the town manager asking for an update, one to Suzanne asking for an update on the Griffin theory. This one here is, I'll read it real quick so it's in the records. We're hoping to meet with some town boards in the upcoming months to let them know what we're all about, our plans, goals, and how we can work together. I left out work. We would like to meet with the planning board first, and then maybe the board of selectmen. Can you maybe take a look at the upcoming planning board schedule as to when would be a good time, or should I reach out directly to the chair? The trust is way behind the minutes. No one in our group is able to do them. We are all way too busy. Is there somebody that may be there at town hall that could watch our old meetings and transcribe them? We do not have staff, but since we have funds, we could pay them. Is this something that is possible and legal? Question mark. We are thinking of arranging a meeting with the LaPointes about the proposed development that he is trying to sell. We would appreciate you being able to join us if we do end up meeting with them. We have lots of questions and we'd like to see if we can maybe help them to keep this project on track. Lastly, how do we go about looking for grants that would help us achieve some of our goals? Thank you. The response is behind that. Good afternoon, Ken. I think meeting with the planning board is a great idea. I can add you to the agenda for February 5th if you wish. This will be contingent upon Bruce okaying, but I don't think you'll have a problem with it. Kevin, the deputy town planner, is looking at elements for the master plan, and I believe that affordable housing is part of that. I will ask him to look at that this week and get that information to both you and the planning board for conversation. I have some thoughts on hiring someone to do your minutes. Let me make some inquiries and I will get back to you, so that's good news. And of course, I would ask for approval, and if we do end up having to pay someone, we'd have vouchers, we'd all have to sign them, or 3 members would have to sign them. I'm happy to join you with a meeting with the LaPointes if he can make it. I would like to include Kevin as well. She means the assistant town planner. The latest state growth grant round literally just opened on Friday. It is called One Stop. Here is the link. You can look through that to see if there are any opportunities for the trust. I also have a list of private grants from a couple of years ago. That might be beneficial. I will try to do that this week. Okay?
Excellent.
So I believe I made copies. Maybe I did not. Maybe I made one for myself. There was one grant in there that looked like, this is the one. I don't think I made copies for everybody in this one. I'm sorry, but if you go to the state mass development underutilized properties program, when I read this, I sent this to Liz and I said, this is something I think that might be able to work for the two schools. And it authorizes $40 million for underutilized properties program for the purpose of funding projects that will improve, rehabilitate, or redevelop blighted, abandoned, vacant, or underutilized properties to achieve the public purposes of eliminating blight, increasing housing production, supporting economic development projects, increasing the number of commercial buildings accessible to persons with disabilities. So I think that might fall into the play, so I asked them to go over it with Judy Barrett when they do their RFP for the schools, and maybe consider that. On the same note,
And where did you find that?
massdevelopment.com.
Massdevelopment.com.
In the email that Liz, One Stop is mass.gov guides community One Stop for growth. That one site has all the different grants. Other than that, there wasn't really too much else from that. She said that Judy Barrett's been really sick, so they're kind of way behind on everything. So that's probably why we don't have any answers on that. Discussion, comments on final draft of action plan. Let's hold off on that until we have some, see if we have time before we go into the next meeting. CPA requests, as my understanding, through our CPA liaison, and that our one request, right?
Well, we have one request
Right.
for $250,000, and it's tentatively being approved. We have
Okay.
not voted yet.
Oh, okay, all right. But,
We're going to vote on February 6th before our public hearing.
so we should try to be there. Do you see any problems with it?
No.
No.
No, I explained all the projects that we're working on
Yeah.
and the possibility of adding Little Points to that mix.
Yep.
So and now that we have the action plan, they were very happy about that.
Yes.
We had a copy of the draft.
Okay, good. Well, that's good news then. And then if we want to, we'll talk about that in a second, with Noreen about their CPA request. Discussion on meeting minutes and possible staff hiring. So you saw what I said. I hope anybody doesn't have a problem with that. I feel bad that the grant shouldn't be that, I mean, the minutes should not be that hard to do. And less is better. In other words, you just put the votes, how the meeting started, because if there's any questions, people can always go back to the video to look at it. So I don't think it will be a time-consuming project. Easy for me to say because I haven't had the time to do it, but I'm going to skip the action plan. We talked about the CPA request. Noreen, would you like to come up, you and your guests come up and sit at the table, maybe down that end if you could, and we could talk about some stuff. So we have Noreen Brown from the South Shore Habitat for Humanity, and
Dick Halverson, also with Habitat.
I think you've been here before, once, weren't you?
Yes.
I know the name.
Well, I was here a number of years ago. I actually permitted and built the Cape Cod lumber facility here in town.
wow.
Very nice.
So I was here with Sean Riley, who you probably know.
Yeah, we know him.
Yeah, we've heard his name before.
Yeah, right.
I think there's
thought
been
so.
some emails back and forth, because Dick was the one that walked the site, the
Okay, yeah.
the
And you were on a
land.
Zoom at one point. I
Right,
remember.
exactly. Mhm.
Excellent. Okay, so let's talk about the other stuff first. Plymouth Street House. Okay, what's, any status on that? You got an update, what's going on with that?
The last update I received from the fund was that they plan on having it ready through foreclosure for us for May.
For May?
For May.
Okay. And now, my understanding is the CPA is willing to give you some funds, correct?
I heard they approved or recommended or proposed a little, $150,000.
Okay. And does that leave you, is that an issue, or would that,
So what I explained to Ellen the other day was that, that's great news, we appreciate anything we can get, and our board will be meeting later this week,
Yeah.
so we were gonna present that to the board. I didn't realize there's a February 6th follow-up meeting, so
Okay.
I might be able to have some more information from you after that. I mean, as much as we can, we typically don't pay for land, but again, so anything we could get would be appreciated. So we'll bring that to the board's attention and have a conversation with them to see how they feel about
you
that.
could always go to that meeting and plead your case and ask.
I will,
ask for
yes.
the whole.
Oh, okay, I think that meeting.
Yeah.
I thought you meant, our meeting, so, yeah. I'll go anywhere and plead a case.
Now, if you do not get the complete funding, does your deal fall through, or you might be able to still be able to?
We might be able to still do it, that's where we're
Yeah,
trying to work on the board.
our board of directors is actually meeting tomorrow night, and we'll present it to them on the basis of the recommended 150,000,
Yeah,
and see what the reaction is, and, because we've already created a full budget on it,
sure.
based on the initial request of the 296,000. So our board was comfortable with that amount, us being able to raise the difference, obviously.
Yeah,
And we'll just have to see how much confidence they have in the project
okay.
for us to move forward.
I mean, we have funds.
Right,
I just don't know how much we could spare. We also are meeting with a developer that might require some funds, so, but we can talk about that further down the road,
okay,
We haven't really spent any money yet. We're trying to get some good funds so that we can do big projects, so.
right.
But this is a project, so we'll talk
Yeah.
about it at a
Thank
future
you.
date, so, I'd hate for you were talking about another project in town that might fall through because, they don't have funds, and now,
Right.
we don't want this to fall through.
Right.
Anybody have any opinion to that, or everybody agree, disagree?
Yeah, agree.
Okay, we are hanging on to what we got so far.
Exactly.
We haven't really had the opportunity other than to hire a person to do our housing trust plan, action plan. That's all we've had to spend so far, but it's nice everything I read is it's important that the housing trusts have funds ready so they can spend
Yes.
it if they need to. Okay, so we talked about your CPA request, we talked about Plymouth Street. Now let's talk about what's going on, probably about an hour. The selectmen, can you read what it says again? Oh, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Ellen. What does it say they're doing? Meet with our board and the Griffin's Dairy about possible.
Meeting with the Affordable Housing Trust and Griffin's Dairy Committee to discuss the potential of parceling off a portion of land currently part of Griffin's Farm for construction of an affordable housing unit.
Okay, cool. All right. Come on in, how you doing?
Hi, can I sit here?
Sit wherever you like.
I'm gonna sit right here.
Okay.
Oh, I'll sit right here then.
All right, Suzanne, you remember Noreen?
Yes.
and-
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are
Is it
you?
Dick Halverson?
Dick Halverson,
Dick
yeah.
Halverson.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Suzanne is a member of our board, she's the selectman's liaison, or whatever you want to call it, appointee. She's the most important person here. So that's
Liaison.
Basically, yeah. So, we're gonna go in and meet with them. It appears from everything that I've been hearing, and maybe Suzanne can actually chime in on this, because she's the one that brought this land up. I know. The
Thank you.
The Griffins Committee doesn't seem like they're in favor of this. They don't own the property, I own the property, you own the property, everybody in town owns the property. But it is up to the select board to make the final decision as to what happens to the property. And they've been very, they don't like to do anything up there, they don't want to really give up any of it, they haven't in the past, so. And there was some concerns with the Board of Selectmen too, because they lost a member this previous week, so now there's only 4, so it makes it harder to get, you know, three votes, so. Do you have anything to add at all?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I have something to add. So I talked to a couple of people, and you know where the parking lot where I originally said that would be a great place, and I still am, I think that still would be a great place. But around the corner on Charles Street, at the very end, might be, I'd like to give people 2 options. You know, it might be a little bit better
Charles Street?
location on Charles Street. If you go down where the parking lot
We
is.
looked at that too, right here.
This, a number of months ago, I took a wag at this, not knowing any of the politics or the what's going on in town, and I sort of earmarked where I thought there were potential sites that could be
Right.
developed. You know, yes, I think you could also conceivably put some on this side of the road, but I thought this would be less impactful to the walking trails and other things that are going on. It would mean a small extension of the road, but I didn't think that was terribly
I think that
bad.
after talking to people,
Yeah.
I think it's easier for them to look at that piece of land that's not intrusive
Mhm.
than this, because there is a parking lot there. And now it's changed, they want to present, the Griffin's Dairy want to present that we want to open that up to be able to, for people to park there to walk the rail trail. I don't really see anybody really parking there for the rail trail, because you really have to walk down the street.
That is true, however, and I'm gonna go way back, as I was on the original Griffin's Dairy Committee, and we recommended to portion off, not sell them, but make them available, the 3 lots on Patterson and 2 lots on Charles Street, which is ironic because Abington's first Habitat for Humanity house is on Charles Street.
Well, that's what I said, and a couple of people didn't realize that, and they were like, oh. And I said, well, all you're doing is extending it a little bit further,
Now, the-
to here, and then maybe to the side. You know what I
Possibly,
mean?
yes, right.
Yeah, and that's actually 8 feet short for 2 house lots, because it's 192 feet, so I think it requires 100-foot frontage, so it would be.
That's on Charles?
Yes, and you guys see it on your maps, right, what we're talking about?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, do you
highlighted.
know what
it.
we're talking about?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I just highlighted it on.
Yeah, yeah, I have that.
So, that was our original plan, to have
Right.
5 lots that the town could do something with if they wanted to. So I have no problem with that either. I mean, I don't think that, if,
So what I'm equipping and hearing in my ear, like, 1 would be okay, like, I think we could really push 1 and then kind of wait for another one to come up, instead of saying, we want 4 houses, or we want, 3 condos, that kind of thing. They're like 1 house, make 4 bedroom.
maybe the way to go approach this is to say, we would just like a house lot up on Griffin's Dairy.
That would be,
You
that
know,
would be perfect.
we don't, we don't want to ruin what you folks already have, maybe on Charles Street, and then you can go into Charles Street's the location of and his house is there. Now, the only
Yeah.
people that would complain about that would be your next door neighbor. I don't know who it is, but.
The only issue that I see with Charles Street, and that
Yes.
was one that I, way back when I first looked at this property, thought would be viable as well. The only issue that I see with it is going to be the cost of extending the road and the utilities there too. And it might bring up the question of whether we would have to put a cul-de-sac at the end of that road, which is typically standard practice on a
If you
dead-end road
look
these
at
days.
the map, can you, okay,
Well, this
actually, you
is,
know what, my map will probably be better.
okay,
Because it's gonna show you some, so this is Patterson,
Yep.
304 feet. This is the land, 190.
right.
There's houses across the street, so there's
Yeah.
already utilities there.
Yes, if we don't, I guess if we don't do what I'm talking about, you're talking basically about building
Side.
a few house lots in here.
I was thinking about just extending, this is Charles Street, goes up here.
Mhm.
There's two houses on the left.
Yep,
There's Griffin's Dairy Land here.
right.
So you could put a house here, maybe.
Right, and that's where it would be on this side, instead of
Right.
extending,
Yep.
have it on this side, which actually would probably be better for utilities, because
Yeah,
it's
because
already hooked up
there's
there.
utilities there, there's sewer there already too.
It might be. I guess the piece that I kind of balked at a little bit
Yeah.
when I thought that, we would be putting house lots kind of like that. My fear was that it was getting awfully close to the walking trails and the manicured areas within the Griffin Dairy property.
Well, there's already a house here.
Yeah,
And you would
Yeah,
basically just
right.
repeat what they've got.
yeah, but you can see the depth of those lots.
Yep.
Is that
They're-
the walking
they're-
trail there, the white lines?
These are the
Yes.
walking trails
Yeah.
within the
Yeah, so that right there would.
property.
And the other thing too is I would think one of our initial plans was, right here is the rail trail.
Mhm.
And in here, the town owns it, and there's power lines here, and you can walk here all the way, almost the whole way through, it's raised. It's where the sewer line goes.
Mhm.
So they can use this, I mean, that's a perfect, we talked about it, you can go from Griffin's Dairy all the way to Norwell on the rail, once you get to connect to the rail trail. But that's another subject altogether. This might fly better
Mhm.
than that. So my,
And I think that might be one of the things, because it's tucked away. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's probably on the same, it is on the same street, not probably, but it is on the same street that we had Habitat House there. It's kind of nice to say that, oh, we have two on the same street, it's beautiful, we have all this land on the walking trail.
Yep.
Instead of having it originally where the parking lot was, because it's so exposed that I think that you, as a board, I think you'll get backlash from it.
right, it fits into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
A single house would fit into the neighborhood, whether it ends up being, once you get the land, then you can come back and say, can we put a duplex there? We can use, or whatever it is, but at least,
Because once you get your foot in the door and you ask for it and they allow it, then you can literally come back and say, well, we'd
Yeah.
like to do something else. This wasn't a problem, let's do something else with the land. Give us
Yeah.
a little bit more.
And is Sarah McKinnon the one on Charles Street?
Yes.
Okay, I forget where the other house is.
Wilbur Street.
Wilbur, there you go, okay.
And what was the address of the other,
was it 80? I don't-
On
Yeah, I
Charles or
didn't- yeah.
Wilbur?
Charles?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I was just
It's
curious.
the
Yeah.
McKinnon's house.
So I guess what we'll do is, we'll go in, I'll talk a little about the Affordable Housing Trust, because we are still kind of new, and just talk about high home prices and how, we're trying to give some people a leg up, and you guys can go on about what the Habitat, and they've got a pretty full agenda tonight, so, and there's gonna be some contentious stuff, maybe not before this, I don't think it'd be that bad, but you might want to just, let them ask the questions if you want,
Yeah.
but stress about how, and we'll interject where we need to, we'll talk about the McKinnons, I went to high school with Bob,
Oh.
and his sister works for me at Trukey, so nice people, they're happy to be here, they still live there. I think they have some concerns about, didn't I hear one thing about, well, what happens, are they gonna sell the property off? But no, you can explain, once they own the house,
They own the house. They sell it, yeah.
They have to pay the mortgage off, and then
Yes.
it's deed restricted after that, isn't it?
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
You guys do a lot of great things. I was looking up some things about the different towns. I mean, people talk about, we don't want this, well, they're putting two houses, you guys putting two houses on Jerusalem Road.
We are.
I mean, that's just,
That's
Yes.
amazing.
it is amazing. good for you guys, so.
Yeah.
We just earlier this fall finished two in Hingham, two
Yeah.
houses in Hingham.
Yep, that was the article I was reading from 2022 about the Hingham and how, you
Yeah.
know, it had been like 15 years since they last put a Habitat house in there. So,
Yeah, Cohasset's excited because this is the first new construction home in Cohasset. There's been a,
Was that two
Too bad.
duplexes, is that what it is?
it's one duplex.
It's one duplex, so
Yeah,
very nice.
yeah.
So
And then we have
it-
3 coming up in Easton after
Mhm.
this.
We won't talk about Plymouth Street, but if they ask, you can talk about it. But I don't want them to think like, oh, they don't need it, they're gonna do another house on Plymouth Street, you know?
Right.
Because that might not happen anyways, so I don't say, I don't wanna do it.
No, I know.
think
We
it'll-
would
I
like
think
to
it'll
see that happen. It's a
I think
cute
that- I
house.
think that'll happen, but
Right.
It's adorable house,
Yeah.
if
yeah.
you guys need us to do anything, I'll introduce you folks.
Yeah,
I'll
and
get
we
up
won't take
first.
much time because like I said, there's a packed agenda. And
Yeah.
so you'll start
Take
talking.
as long
and
as you
we'll-
need, I'm not
yeah.
trying to shut you off because.
Yeah,
they'll do that.
absolutely, take as long
Yeah.
as you need. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll,
Yeah.
you see me kick Kevin underneath, it's been an hour, like.
Oh, no.
I
I
think,
never have that
and
much to
then
say.
if for some reason it falls through and they say no, they're back to here, Kevin's pushing, you know that, right? Kevin's pushing for this again, so.
Yeah.
But this has a much better chance, I think, of flying than that.
So you're saying they're talking about Glenowitz?
Yeah.
Yeah, Glenowitz Way.
How do you pronounce it?
Glenowitz.
Glenowitz.
Because the members of the board that voted against it, a couple of them are gone, so it might
Hmm.
change, so, for now. All right,
I think it's harder to have it on Glenowitz Way. I mean, it's the schools, the traffic, you know, there's a, you, my opinion, and I always say this, but you want something like neighborhoodish. You know what I
definitely
mean?
a good,
Like,
that's a
yeah.
good
you want
neighborhood.
like your home to be having a neighborhood
Yeah.
around you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this would be like seniors across the street, kids gonna play basketball.
Yeah.
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 Yep,
Just saying.
absolutely. All right, cool. All right, so we'll talk about that, and it is what it is. If you need us to say something, just whisper over to one of us, and we'll get up and help you, but
Yep.
it shouldn't be that bad.
Give you a snack, sorry.
Trying to think if there's any questions. Do you guys have any questions for us about that?
Not right now, no.
No? Okay. All right.
Oh, I do have one question. So there's the parking lot, and there was a lot next to it. Because we were looking at the lot next to the parking lot.
Well, yeah, that was.
Right, that
there
would
is-
want nothing
there's
to do over
actually-
there.
I think there's, you know,
I just think it's gonna be a harder fight if you ask for that piece.
Mhm.
And I think it's an easier, it's just more a logical
Mhm.
place where it's number 2, the lot
Yeah.
number 2.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Plus, it'd be
but-
better for whoever ends up with the house, you're not next to a parking lot.
Exactly.
You're squeezed in between a
Yeah.
parking lot and
Mhm.
a Christmas tree
Yeah.
farm, which.
Right, and then
that'll
the
do
condos across, directly across the street.
Yeah.
This way, it's like I said, it's more home, like you feel like you're part of the
It's more
town. You feel
desirable.
a part of the neighborhood,
Yeah.
and that's the most important thing. Charles Street is a really great little neighborhood to live in.
Mhm.
I've got a couple of friends that grew up there. You want to be a part of that. You want to show that, you know, we've done this great thing.
Mhm.
So, opinion on it.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. All right, we'll keep our fingers crossed, all right, and then, all right, so, the meeting starts at 6:30, right?
6:30, yeah, so you have till 6:30.
All right, we have you till
We'll make
6:30.
it a little later.
Updating and keeping current the Affordable Housing Trust page on the town's website. I know that Pam was able to meet
Yep.
with, this is what's on the town's website, right, on the Affordable Housing Trust right now. We asked them to put the information about the lottery in Whitman, they did that, housing page, center school, so there's not a lot on there. How did your meeting
Right.
go?
We just emailed,
Oh,
Tony.
okay.
So it took me a while to, get back in touch with her and her back in touch with me. But she's willing to, she said, please feel free to send me any documents you would like along with approval from the chair of the committee. I can also set someone up with a login if they would like to learn how to use the website. She says, I like to give everyone the option to control their own pages if they would like to.
Okay.
So I guess we just need to figure out what we want her to put on, and then I can meet with her. Because I had another email, I said, I'll probably have to meet with you.
Let's try that and see how it works. See how giving her stuff to put on there works. If
Yeah,
it
'cause
doesn't
I-
work, well, 'cause I know she's gonna be out in a little while.
Yeah, because I also told her that, it would probably be me to get together. So she said, if you want to send me some content you would like added to the webpage, we can set it up together in the office if you have some time, so.
Was our agenda on the site anywhere?
No.
No, that was sent to them
It was sent to them
Yes,
by you and by Leanne.
yeah, so, I just have concerns about maybe, and I don't want it, one of us have to get stuck to do it, but at some point, we might have to get important data, we should know how to do it, get it up there, so.
I think
Yes.
that's kind of what she was saying too.
Yeah, I just don't want to be, anybody being a permanent, you know,
No.
we're gonna do it on our own.
No, because then.
Yeah,
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because if there's any mistakes, if the, you know, and we can't get into it, if the crashes, you get sick,
Yeah,
I don't want to ever do that. I just think having Tony as like our go-to person and really kind of push, like you have to post these things.
Yep.
And it really does not take that long.
No,
She had brought up to me that she would like me to do the, I don't know if it was, I think it was the Housing Authority. And I said, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I want,
Oh, where are we?
you're downstairs,
Downstairs, I went to that room.
You're
Is
on
that
the- on the
discrepancy
left.
there?
the one on the left.
Oh, one on the left.
And I just said I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't want to have access to the website. And,
Yeah, no.
You know, I didn't feel comfortable doing it.
so once we approve the strategic plan, we'll get that to her and see how long it takes her to get that up, you know?
I mean, I can kind of, email her, get her the information,
Yeah.
give me what we want on there,
Okay,
and then I
yeah.
can say, we would like this put on.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
then if I don't see it,
Then you can,
I can
you
say-
just keep, yeah.
Right.
Perfect, that's perfect.
Yeah.
are you gonna have time to put this on? So,
Yeah, and then when we get the, whatever the outcome is tonight, if that happens, we can put a link to the South Shore Habitat for Humanity on there. Once the RFP is done for the school buildings, we can put that on there. Just the more we have on there, and it's definitely important, we should have a separate page on the front page, I think, just for what our purpose is, you know?
Yep.
Separate from the trust, from the strategic plan, because I think that's important. I'm gonna talk about our goals a little bit tonight, just so that a lot of people don't know what we do and what we're about, and then we're gonna try. So we talked earlier about meeting with the planning board and with the board of selectmen, just to, let them know. I read something interesting today, I don't know, you might know this already. The planning board is having a meeting next Monday night about the MBTA 3A proposed zoning change for the, what is it, the transit-oriented district?
Is that One Summer Street? Is that what they're?
No, it's not about,
Zero.
property, it's about, what's it called, the transit?
Transit.
well, the
Transit-oriented
transit-oriented district, I think that's different than,
It is,
the other
Yeah.
district that they want designated for additional housing.
well, the bylaw that
Forget what they
the
call
bylaw
it.
that they want to, zoning bylaw that they want to incorporate, believe it or not, has inclusionary zoning involved in it, with 10%, they're requiring 10% to be affordable housing. And if they don't comply with that, in lieu of, the fee in lieu shall be paid as a housing contribution payment to the Affordable Housing Trust, subject to a binding written agreement with the town of Abington. For each affordable homeownership unit not constructed within the development, the fee in lieu shall be equal to the difference between the maximum purchase price for an affordable unit and the median residential condominium price. So I just thought that, I just want to make note of that. That's next Monday, they're going to talk about that. So this is how we can work together with the planning board. And
Right.
I did this, I guess the state allows this in these new districts,
Yes.
transit-oriented districts, allows you to require the 10% be affordable.
Where did you get that
I
document?
think it's,
Actually, it's
I
a
think it's a
link on.
minimum of 10%.
Yeah, but she said the state doesn't want you to go over that or something, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, they can, if
Yeah,
it's,
I already mentioned that too. This was in Abington News, December 22nd it was posted.
Oh,
That's where I
okay.
happened to see it, I just did a search. So they actually have the wrong date, it says meeting Monday, January 29th, 2023, but it's not, it's 2024, it's next Monday.
So you said it was Abington News, it was what date?
December 22nd.
12/22.
I believe that Abington News, Ace Reporter is on the planning board, so he must have the most up-to-date information. So I just thought it was kind of neat that, I'm surprised that we weren't involved in that, but Liz had a lot to do with this bylaw, and she's been very helpful to us. I still have yet to get an answer from the town manager as to whether that document has been filed yet. Remember there was our first order of business, was a document with the registry of deeds that was supposed to be filed.
Yeah.
I still have not got an answer in that, so I will keep bugging him. Schedule, do we want to meet with the planning board February 8th? Do we want to wait a little bit? I'd like to maybe, just so we get our ducks in a row.
I'm just looking for a date.
Yeah, and I don't know when they meet, it's hard for me to,
So February 8th is a Thursday?
what
That
did she
doesn't
say?
sound right.
What did she say in that email?
They meet on Mondays.
Maybe I'm wrong. She sent us,
It's multifamily zoning, Ken. It's,
So the 5th, they would
Yes.
meet at the 5th.
Yeah, it's a bit.
yeah, it's a fact, okay.
Okay. I would probably not be there because I have another meeting.
Why don't I ask to put on the agenda for the March meeting? That way
I think it's the 5th.
we'll
No,
have
it's, I
plenty.
have down the 12th and the 26th, the 2nd and the 4th.
Oh, because, yeah. Oh, so I can be there.
Good.
I need a secretary. I want the job. I have too much stuff going on.
All right, so why don't we, then I'll post a meeting for February 5th for us,
Okay.
a joint meeting. After I'll just check with their chair, Bruce, and make sure that it's okay. And it'll be a very loose agenda. We can just explain what we're doing, maybe some common goals we can have, talk about inclusionary zoning, talk about accessory dwelling units, that sort of stuff. With planning, and then at some point, if we want to have a meeting with the Board of Selectmen, planning, zoning, all that sort of stuff. I just don't know what board, there's so many boards in town. I'm not sure who, we're gonna partner
Right.
up with. I did speak to Liz this, before the meeting. She said that in the email that she sent us to, meeting with LaPointe, she had no problem with that. She thinks it's a good idea.
And I did mention it to him, I sent him a text and just let him know that, after tonight's meeting and, when we're doing some Habitat stuff, that we'd be in touch.
All right, do you want to reach out to them and see if they can come to our next meeting? Maybe not the one, when we're meeting in the 20,
Do we set up another one
I
yet?
thought we did. I thought we had another meeting also. Are we meeting the, it'd be the
February
third.
26th.
The 26th. So if you
So
see-
ask Glenn if they can come the 26th?
Yes. Now, that's Glenn Junior, right?
Yes.
Okay. My understanding too is that that project is back on track. Did you hear anything about that?
Wait a second, I picked the wrong. No, the 26th is correct. I'm sorry, what?
That meeting, that project may be back on track? Did you hear anything about that?
Plymouth Street?
Yes.
I have not.
All right.
I know that the last deal fell through, and the price was lowered.
Liz said that they're good, they've asked for a meeting with the conservation to move forward with their project.
Oh, really?
So, maybe it's because they got wind that we might be able to help them, or maybe they just got back, maybe they couldn't sell it. But let's bring them in, ask them, see how we can work it. It'd be good having the assistant town planner and Liz here, and maybe even Barrett, someone from Barrett, just to explain what our options are. Can we help? How can we help? Maybe the power of the trust behind them might be able to leverage some additional funds to come in from the state and stuff like that. It seems like a very worthwhile, especially if we can, right now, there's more than 10% affordable, and there was a fig. Do you remember what it was? I forget it, but he can explain the whole project again with.
Yeah,
with us.
I have it, but
Yeah, but I know there was definitely an aspect of affordable housing involved in that, and seniors, which is two of our main
right,
goals.
age and age restricted.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
And income
Glenn's-
restricted.
When you add Glenn's in, that development, what the, yeah, I think we were still just under the 10%.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to the final draft of the action plan. I think she led us through a pretty good, most of the issues, or does anybody have any comments? Did anybody get to look at it? I'd like to put it to bed, in other words, tell her we're all set.
I think we went through most.
We did go through a
Yeah, we
lot.
did, yeah, we did.
I think she was gonna change on the first page our values.
Mainly typos, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
And I'm not sure exactly, but on the first page, under our values, we were gonna skip the last line. The very
Right.
first page mentions
And
that.
use the wording from the very bottom.
I thought we were gonna add to the very first
Right.
safe in quality affordable housing.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yes, so say, so we're just gonna add that to the first line, so. the
correct.
first line,
Look at
Okay,
the last
all
one.
right, so that's, what, do you have any other changes that we talked about? I have a copy here if you want it, you're gonna, do you need any help in there? You're gonna, how do you wanna handle that? Do you want, I don't wanna throw you under the bus, just say one of our, honestly, one of our members mentioned Griffin's, that would be a good location of them, I'm not gonna say Plymouth Street, I mean, whatever.
I can throw me under the bus, I don't know.
No.
No, I'm just gonna, you know, like if you wanna say, you know, one of our, Suzanne Jasper,
Yeah.
for the most part, said, you know, maybe Griffin's, Patterson would be a good place, Griffin's Dairy, because we do have a lot of land. I mean, it's not that no one knows that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's good. And then, yeah, I think the key is if they ask for a portion of land up there, they don't have to say, you know, it can be anywhere, you know? Be
Right.
smack dab in the middle, with a dirt road to go, no, I'm kidding.
But I really do think that the end of Patterson, I mean, the end of Charles Street is a better
Yeah,
and easier property to swallow. You know what I mean?
yeah, well, it's, I keep saying progress, it's not progress, what is it? Patterson was the low-hanging fruit, because there's three stubs there for the sewer, they probably couldn't be on Charles Street too.
Right.
It was easy because,
Because at the very end, I think that there is, when you walk the trail,
Yes.
there's that spot that's, here's Charles Street, and it's a spot, and I think we used to push snow there. But at the end of that, there's a hookup.
yeah, but it probably is.
You know what I mean? So,
Because it goes and it takes a sharp left.
Right.
Yes, that's, and it goes to Rockland. Where our poop goes to Rockland every day. Okay. Only 10% goes to Rockland, the rest goes to Rockland, just in case anybody was curious.
Thanks a lot.
No problem, Florence.
Glad to know that.
thanks.
Okay, no problem.
I have a note on page 11 that says suggested course of action. I'm not sure what that means.
Yes, I think that we were gonna,
We're gonna change the wording of resources needed, or,
I thought 1.2, we're gonna make it a high priority. That's why I have a check mark there.
okay.
1.2B was gonna be compile progress, updates, and report to submit for annual town report. A high priority. That's all I have for notes. Does anybody else have any?
Well, we're gonna change, instead of resources needed, we're gonna change it to suggested course of action. I'm not exactly sure on that.
Oh, I don't know.
I almost emailed her to see, you know, what she, I think we were supposed to get back to her on some stuff, but. So instead of resources needed, what do you want to change it to? What do you do?
I wrote this down, suggested course of action, and, you know, since it was a while ago, I can't remember why I wrote it down, but I think, I want to say that we were changing, instead of saying resources needed, we were going to change
Yes, I don't
it.
know what capacity means. Do you know what it means?
No. Do you want to ask her about that? Are you sending Alexa something?
Sure.
Because she made notes on all of this as we were going through it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm sure she knows what she's.
Go back to page,
And then I have 2.1 and 3.1 circled, the first ones. To assess any incomplete. And again, I don't have it circled, it might be my notes here somewhere.
yeah, and I have different things highlighted, funding, capacity, because I could, you know, I don't know. Okay.
Do you think we should meet with her one more time and just finalize it, or?
I thought she was gonna go through and do all of this and then,
Thanks, you.
Yeah, we have,
Get it
yeah, we're supposed to get a
back to us.
final draft
I think so.
with those changes?
Thought we were supposed to go back to her with some, I think we were supposed to get back to me, and I was supposed to get back to her.
I thought we went through everything and then she was just gonna do the updates and get back with the final.
And I think on page 7, the regulatory constraints, I think we're gonna check with the zoning and planning and make sure that those are actually correct. You know, 'cause we talk about Abington's zoning bylaws restrict, and that sort of stuff. I think we're gonna check on, make sure that what they're stating in here are actual facts, so.
Okay.
All right, I'll reach out to her and just say, nobody has any serious problems with it. You know, we talked about some stuff, you have a question on maybe changing the word capacity to mean something, they say something else, because it doesn't really, I mean, I don't really know exactly what capacity means.
Probably just means up to what you need. If you're at capacity, there's no more.
That's all I have for notes in here.
Okay. All right, I'll reach out to her and then ask her to send us a final strategic plan. We'll look at it and we'll nitpick that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Again, and I don't mean to sound like a naysayer, but I just wish, we're all new at this, you know, we're kind of shorthanded, operating not with a full board. I just wish there was more, you know, people have done this before. You know, whether it be the town manager, because I know this is one of his priorities, but it doesn't seem to be a priority anymore. So I just wish that we could get some more help.
Well, Judy mentioned that she thought we should make the board larger and possibly get a developer on the board or something else. How do you go about that? Is that town meeting vote, charter change, bylaw change?
I'd have to look at the actual bylaw to see if it said, because the state's one says at least 5.
Mhm.
I don't know what the town says. If the town says 5, or if the town says at least 5, we can just add more, I would think. But again, I want to let people know I'm having trouble with the 5 we have now, having meetings and stuff like that, so. It's just, I mean, it'd be nice to have some people on there. I mean, having a developer is all well and good, but we need somebody, you know, I don't know. I agree, a good mix of people,
Yeah.
you know, someone.
It's not a full board.
No.
It's not. It's not, and we're kind of, I like to be more proactive. We're kind of being like, okay, we know the schools, and what's going on with the schools, we're waiting and waiting and waiting.
Mhm.
Oh, somebody's sick, or we haven't done it yet. Well, every year you wait, it just gets more and more deteriorated,
Mhm.
you know? And that's the reason why I really pushed to have this committee, is so we could do something with the schools, and that was, you know, the same reason we pushed to have a Griffin's Dairy Committee, is to do something with Griffin's Dairy, and they let the barn burn down, they demolished the house that was there. I mean, what they're doing with the property is cool, but, I don't know, let have a big pavilion there, and have ball fields, and bring the grandkids there in the summer, and, but anyways, I don't really have anything else. Does anybody else have anything else before we go into this? Like, yes.
What do you want me to get back to Tony? You want me to work on making sure the agenda's put up every month?
That's the important thing.
First
Yeah, that's
and
important.
foremost?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then, once this gets approved, right now, there's not much. We'll see what happens tonight. If something happens where the board votes to let, I mean, we can put a link to the South Shore Habitat for Humanity's, at least their site, just so people know what that's about,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, because granted, we wait till the last minute to put the agenda in, that's what every board does, because you have to wait to see what's on there. But you would think that once they get it, they could post it, you know,
Right.
and that's not happening. It does have the meeting date on there, but I don't know. We know our next 2 meetings, right?
I don't think it's right that if I want to know what meetings are going on, I have to come to town hall and look at the foyer or the window outside. And when you try to take a picture of it, it reflects,
I know.
so, because of the glass on both of them.
I know.
I'll have a conversation with Scott about that.
Thank you.
And I know.
But I don't want anybody taking over like exactly at the web posting.
No,
For all the boards.
no. I think it should be one person at town hall that they put on the meetings.
What do you
and the
want me to
agendas.
say? Anything?
No, I'll get up and just say we're the Affordable Housing Trust, you know, we're trying to promote, I'm gonna read from the bylaws, I'm gonna
Okay.
talk about how expensive it is to live in Abington. I said one of our members had a good idea about maybe investigating using some of the Griffin's Dairy land that's been dormant, on the outskirts of Griffin's Dairy that it's been sitting there, and originally was proposed. One of the members of the Board of Selectmen currently got up at town meeting and said, and I was the chairman of the finance committee at the time, and I got up and said we could sell some of the outlying portions to recap some of the money. That never happened. Even one of the members of the Board of Selectmen said the same thing. So, and even so much to the point where they put 3 sewer subs because they had planned on that all the land was not gonna, and they're gonna say, it's, you know, it's specifically for recreation open space, but it says for uses including. It doesn't say, you know, specifically, so. So I'll just get up and say some stuff and.
Okay.
And what I'll do is, if you want, I can introduce them, Noreen, or I can let you, I can talk, I can put.
No, I think it's better to come from you.
All right, so I'll
because-
introduce
yeah.
them. What I'll say is, I'm gonna ask Noreen and explain a little bit about social habitat for humanity. And then I'll just say, well, Suzanne was the one that brought this forward, so kudos to her, something like that. Okay? Kudos.
Should be interesting.
It should be interesting.
It's good, it's a good plan. It really is a great plan.
All right.
Motion
well,
to adjourn?
Motion to, it's not, what do you
Not
call
to
it?
adjourn, to
Continue.
continue our
meeting.
meeting over with the Board of Selectmen.
Yes.
All right, motion made. Have a second, and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.